talking about the book of Boba Fett up next on Geek Out SA. Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream. And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun.
Woo woo! Fun times. Woo woo! It's Friday. It's Friday. I love Fridays. They're so awesome.
What's that like?
All right. Y'all are like, what? No, baby, no. Lay down. Be a good boy.
And
Don't
I'm
break
in a
off my
super
makeup.
good mood because I just recently got a promotion. So
Congratulations,
at work,
Vince!
so I'm really happy about that.
Woo!
I'll be starting my new position next week, which is
There you go.
my regular position. I just got a promotion.
When do I get a soundboard so I can be like applause for him?
I know, right? Yay!
Well, there is
Vince!
applause on there.
Where?
I think it's like on the.
See, he tells me, hey, help me out. Doesn't tell me where anything's at.
I'm just happy that it's Friday because we had this weird like half day on Wednesday and then we did like some pre-state testing stuff, and so then it kind of felt like a Friday. So then when Vince tried to get me up for work on Thursday, I was like, no. And he's like, no, you have to go to work. And I'm like, it's Saturday. And he's like, no, it's Thursday. So
You get all confused.
I was a little confused this week. So,
Just
but now
a
it's for
little
real
bit.
Friday. For real Friday. So, and it's throwing me off that the Book of Boba Fett is on Wednesdays.
Why?
Because we used to watch everything with Stuart on Fridays. So
But everything came out on Wednesday.
we would watch the Bad Batch and everything. I know, but in my mind, everything came out on Fridays because that was when we watched it, because we would wait and watch it with Stuart.
Right.
And so now we're watching stuff on Wednesdays when it comes out, and my brain's like, wait, isn't this a Friday show? Like, shouldn't we be watching this on Friday? So that is like confusing my brain as well. So I'm just on the struggle bus lately. It's fine. It's not a
But
problem.
I can wait till like the night of. I'm not like the one that waits till like midnight to watch it.
So one of my kids
Not
told
wait,
me
but, like,
that on Wednesdays he
midnight.
gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the Book of Boba Fett before he goes to school.
Wow.
Dang, that's dedication.
That's straight up dedication.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, chill. I think it's because a lot of times people spoil stuff. And so I think people don't want it to be spoiled. And I wouldn't either. Like, I would be ticked off
So
if it was spoiled.
I'm gonna try not to spoil the last episode.
But
So we're
Let's
not
try
gonna
not
talk-
to spoil too
we're-
many of them, because I don't.
We're not gonna talk too much about that.
Not too much detail, but
There's kind of
think
like
some
our
overview
feelings and
stuff.
thoughts about what we've seen so far. Now we've seen the last one.
yeah, we're caught up.
We're caught
current.
up all the way, and a lot of people are mixed about this show.
Well, I think in general, people are really mixed about this show. I've seen a lot of people complaining because it's slow, it's build up, it's background story, it's getting us from the last point that we saw Boba Fett in the, what's it called, Snarlack? What's the worm?
Sarlacc
thing?
pit.
Snarl
Yes.
like that.
So he's in the Snarlack pit. Sorry, my brain just went here.
Mhm.
And then we see him in The Mandalorian. So they're kind of trying to fill in those gaps for us from how did we get from our last point to our current point.
And a lot of people aren't liking that fact, but it's kind of a thing that Robert Rodriguez, which is one of the directors on there, Robert Rodriguez has been the main director for the last 4.
Mhm.
But Robert Rodriguez is really close with Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Tarantino does this kind of stuff to where he goes back and forth.
And
Yeah,
I don't mind.
like
And
that.
I don't mind the back and forth so much.
It's hard at first. It's hard to like. Wait, where am I?
Right.
Where
What
is
part
he?
of the timeline am I in? Yeah.
And
so
then you don't really find out until like the third to fourth episode, to where he's in, what he's in.
how he kind of transitioned from one part of the timeline to the next
Yeah.
part of the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that yes, it's slow, but I like the nods that they're making to like old school westerns, which
Yeah.
I think we got some of those nods in The Mandalorian as well. So I like the way that they're kind of trying to knit that together, because we're getting these old school kind of looks at westerns, and you're getting very much to where the Sand People are kind of like indigenous peoples of the United States.
Right. So Angel, hey Angel,
Hey,
thanks for
Angel.
watching. So far, Boba seems like he's more diplomatic.
So I think we're going to get to that next. That's something that definitely people don't like about it. But
Because
I think
here's the thing
'Cause Boba
about
can't shoot.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett doesn't talk much through the movies.
well, right. So he's really a background character, right, in the movies, and he's become this larger than life kind of what people assumed was a bad guy, which I'm not really sure where everybody got those assumptions from, but that was what everybody was going with, was he was kind of hardcore, he's kind of a bad guy, he's kind of a badass, sorry kids. You know, he doesn't take any crap from anybody. Like that was kind of what everybody had built up him to be.
So,
But-
but in the comics and the books, he does a lot of stuff, but we don't see that in the movies, or we don't necessarily see that in any of the other series, or even you even see him be more diplomatic in The Mandalorian when we first get to see him after he's been in the Snarlack pit.
Well, and I'm hoping as they go through subsequent seasons, if they get to go through subsequent seasons, that we'll get to go even further back and see him in childhood and see him with Jango Fett, because really, I think of him after I saw him in those parts of the movies and the prequels. He's like the crown prince, right? He's the one clone that gets chosen to kind of be by his father's side and to be raised like a normal person, I guess is a way to think of it, right? And he gets raised by his father. So what are these ideals that his father gives him?
But
You know,
not
just
for
because
very
he-
long.
Right, not
either,
for very
though.
long.
He's still very young.
And then how does that carry? And then does he spend time on Mandalore or with other Mandalorians or anything, like learning any of that lore, any of that background? Or does he just kind of take the armor and then he's a mercenary, he's a bounty hunter? But then I think people think, oh, well, bounty hunter, so he must be bad. But that's his job.
Have you never seen Dog the Bounty Hunter? Gosh.
Yeah, he's a goofy. So, like I feel like a lot of people read into this character what they wanted, which is great. You can do that, especially with a minor character like that, right? You
Right.
can do that. You can make up your own backstory. But then when somebody puts in the time and effort, and we've talked about this a million times, when somebody puts in the time and effort, somebody gets the backing, somebody gets the money, somebody writes the story, somebody puts in all the time, and they put their version of the story forward, you don't get to complain. Because you didn't do all those
You didn't do
things
it.
to put
Yeah.
your version of the story out there, right? So I think it does have some good aspects of storytelling. One of my biggest concerns is that it's just going to become Mandalorian 2.0 or a big advertisement for Mando. And so I'm really hoping, I can see where they would be tempted to do that because Mando took off so much.
Yeah.
But I need them to not, because Boba could be a good character in and of himself if they'll give us that, if that makes sense.
But we were all ecstatic when we got to see Boba in The Mandalorian.
Well, we were all ecstatic because I think there was a certain Boba that we were hoping to get.
It was a nostalgia thing.
Right. And so now that we're getting, like Angel said, now that we're getting the diplomatic Boba, is that really the Boba we want to
Angel
get?
says in the books he becomes a high-ranking Mandalorian.
Like he said, it's not canon anymore since Disney took it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it goes to the movies, nothing's canon. Not really anymore.
Well, so I guess let's talk about some of the things you've liked about it so far, because people have like torn it down a lot. But
people are saying that Boba hasn't changed through the course of the series right now, but what Boba's trying to do is establish himself, and he's doing it very diplomatically because.
I don't know how they can say he hasn't changed, because when we see him with the Sand People, you see him change.
Yeah.
You see him appreciative of what help he's gotten from them. And yes, he tries to get away at first and isn't very successful. And so then we see him it gave me kind of a Dances with Wolves kind of vibe.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
It did.
You see these kind of Dances with Wolves moments, and he kind of, helps them out and incorporates some of the culture, and that again ties back to that good Western stuff. So I don't see how we can say we haven't seen him change, because he goes from whatever he was, bounty hunter, Mandalorian, and everything, and he kind of ends up being Jabba's lackey for a little while to an extent, right? And then, he's in the Sarlacc pit, so, and comes out looking pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then is out in the desert still and gets picked up by these Sand People, but it's not like they're hugging him and kissing him and like treating him real kind, So he's still going through all of these things and thinking about himself and considering who he wants to be. And so I think they're trying to show us that connection of, okay, he sees what happens to the Sand People. He sees these other crime lords. He's seen Jabba, right?
Yeah.
So I think he makes a decision in there. If you're watching and you're paying attention, he makes the decision that he's going to be different, right? Yeah. That he's going to take it over and he's going to be different. So I think people are watching a different show maybe than some of the rest of us are watching. I don't know. Or me, I always read too much into things. So maybe I'm the one watching a different show and I'm reading too much into it.
I think you're on it. I think you're right, because I think the same things when it comes to that. But yeah, no, I like that. I like Ming Na's character.
She is. I love her so much. She's my superhero woman. I love her.
She's done the trifecta, right? Because she's a Disney princess, Avengers,
Yep.
or S.H.I.E.L.D., and now Star Wars.
Yep. She has done it all. And she can act, and she's so beautiful, and she's so graceful. And she's, talk about somebody that you want to see kick butt. I kind of like that Boba's like, I'm going to be chill here, and like, if I have to kick people's butts, I will. But her, I'd watch her.
Right.
She has issues. Okay.
She's got some anger issues she's going to take out on you.
And I love that comes out where she's like, it's okay. You want to be diplomatic? That's fine, because I'll deal with this for you. Like, I'll take it on. And he is. I mean, he's beat up. He's gotten older. He's beat up. He has to go into that chamber and kind of, get some regeneration and stuff. As you're older and you mature, you kind of change, right? And so she's like, it's okay. You just be the head of the family, whatever you be, Don Corleone or whatever you are, and you're like, make me an offer, and then I'll go out there and take care of everybody for you. Oh, and by the way, remember that cool guy that we met? He can also help us take care of business.
Yeah. Yep. Folger says he comes off as dope though, like he makes decisions that he shouldn't as an experienced bounty hunter. I still like the show, but hiring a bunch of kids on multiple colored Vespas is a bit off.
You mean the Power Rangers? Go Power Rangers.
The cybernetic kids.
Well, then I look at that and I wonder, if they have subsequent seasons, are we going to come back to a point where we see he's lost his dad, right? And so he's somewhere maybe as a teenager, and maybe if he had been given that chance.
Yeah.
something would have gone differently for him. So again, I think people have a hard time with seeing these characters mature and grow. Like, it was one of the things that they hated about all the movies with Luke and Han and Leia being grown, is they're making different decisions because they're passing the torch, because they're grown, because they see the world a different way.
Because of their past experiences.
Because of their past experiences. So, as of right now, we're seeing Boba grown, making choices based on probably his past experiences that we may not all be privy to until they give us flashbacks, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the nice thing about flashbacks in TV shows and stuff, is you can explain away a lot of crud with a flashback that shows, well, in my life, X event happened and I learned that and that's why I did this, right? And I guess because I'm a teacher, so I have a soft spot for that kind of stuff. So when he did that for those kids, I was like, I like that. Like, you know, he saw that they could have potential if they were groomed properly. And
because here's the thing, Jabba had a lot of people at his palace. Boba doesn't. He hardly has anybody.
Yeah. I mean, he's starting to build his family. Yeah. And I like that he's like the king of misfit toys, right? Which, not gonna lie, that's my favorite. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and, you know, the Island of Misfit Toys. It's kind of my favorite because I've always felt like I was one of those, right? So I think I like that too, is he's got all of these misfits, these people that nobody would really want, or nobody would really think of them that way. And I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with his pet, because he's very much has this connection to animals.
Yeah.
Or to what we would consider animal-type creatures in the Star Wars universe. So I'm curious to see that. And to see if the Wookiee's going to come back into play.
So Fulger says, I know a lot of people didn't like the backstory with the Tusken Raiders, but I love that stuff. Made him grow as a character. It did make him grow as a character. Like we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It did make him grow. It made him... And it also made him see... It also makes us see how... I don't know... humanized they were. And it kind of made you feel bad that Anakin killed the whole tribe of them.
Right.
Even the women and the children.
Right. Right. Yeah, because in the book it goes into detail of, like, what Anakin does. It's not good. It's not good.
So I'm hearing a lot of Anakin kills a lot of kids.
Anakin does tend to hate children. Yeah, he kills them a lot, often. So, which makes me totally want to ruin. Which makes me. I totally want. Oh, bless his heart. He does think we're calling him.
Oh.
Our dog's name is. And so that's why he keeps coming. Baby, I'm sorry.
Well, just Luke's father.
Luke's father, yeah. Did your baby? Okay.
And Angel says, also Boba wants to help people versus destruction, basically making a home.
Yeah.
He's trying to build something from nothing right now. And he needs people to do that. So he needs to be nice to people.
I'm trying not to, like, I don't want to ruin this week's episode because there's so many things I want to talk about, like, from this week's episode that I'm like, I wonder if this is going to happen based on this week's episode, and I wonder if this is going to happen based on this week's episode, and there was stuff about this in this week's episode. So, if you make it to this week's episode,
Here's some monks playing in the background because he took a page out of someone else's book.
There's...
You get a hint in
You get a
episode
hint. Like,
4.
if you're not paying attention to episode 4 and you don't know at this point who's coming, that's on you. Because, I mean, it was really blatantly
because
obvious.
Colleen wasn't paying attention to episode 4.
I was too. I told you.
I told you about the music.
He never listens to me. He thinks just because I'm playing my apps on the phone while we're watching TV that I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on.
Did y'all expect Master Chief to come out, though? No.
No, I did not expect Master Chief. No, I did not.
No one saw that coming.
Or the guy from Kim's Convenience. I didn't even know he was going to be in it again. You can't lick off my makeup. I worked really hard to do my makeup. Okay, can you go find your toy?
No.
Go get your toy.
So
your toy.
I was really, really enjoying that aspect of it. I like that we got to see the dad from Kids Convenience again.
So the only thing that concerns me was this last week's episode. Concerns me because they spent a lot of time on other characters aside from Boba. So
But they did that during The Mandalorian too.
I just don't want it to end up being...
Didn't they?
I don't remember that much.
One of the episodes hardly had anything to do with Din Djarin.
That's true. Oh yeah.
Well, there was a couple, but again, we're meeting new people in his world. You know what I mean? So that's okay. Like, I want to know what's going on with the bar lady. She's something shady. Okay, I feel like there's something going on with her. She's playing all the sides or something. You want it? Go get it. Go get it. Get it, baby. Get it. Good boy. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with her because I feel like they could do a lot with her.
Yeah.
Like she feels like she could have her hands in all these different pots, and you're like, wait, I think I know. No, wait, I think she's gonna. No, wait. I like characters like that where you're not quite sure, where it's like, she might be. No, she's stabbing him in the. No, I think she's
like
helping
the opposite
it.
of
Like-
Maz.
yeah, right. So I'm really interested to see where they go with her because I think they can go some good places with her. I don't need every episode to be Boba, 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 Boba. Like, I'm okay with it being other people in his universe that are going to be part of his, kind of circle or whatever. I just don't want it to be Mando 2.0. That's all I don't want it to be. Because I love Mando, and Mando is his
But
own
it
thing.
hasn't been.
Until this last episode.
But it hasn't been.
No, it hasn't been. But I just worry that they led up to that, and then once they got there, they were like, woohoo! Let's capitalize on the things that were making money for us before. And let's forget about this story. Because they could be writing so far for me, they're writing a really good story.
Right.
They're doing some really good storytelling. They're taking us on a ride. I'm really liking it. I just don't want it to be...
Because I don't think... We might not see Din Djarin until the last episode.
Well, no, I think he's going to be part of their posse for a while,
Not
like
right
helping
now.
out.
Not
Which is
right
that
now.
Din Djarin's which one?
He's
Din
Mando.
Djarin's is the Mando.
Oh, that's
He's Mando.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his actual name.
I'm like, I already forgot his call. I just know it's Mando now.
Yeah.
Because
That's all I
Din
know.
Djarin had to do something first
Yeah.
before. So
Yes.
we're not going to get him like right then. I don't think so.
Do you think, I want to ask you all both this, because it was something me and Robert were talking about on ours, not off camera though. I think it was last week's episode where he's going back to get his armor in the pit.
Mhm.
Did that story feel like it didn't even, how did he not know his armor wasn't in there? He crawled out of it with his armor. Did he like just forget, oh yeah, I had armor when I got out? I felt like that was just a huge,
Yeah, I
we forgot all this and we don't know what else to write right here.
I was wondering what that was all about.
Well,
I
he
was
was
like,
out of it. And what's supposed to happen is because when they say you're digested
Yeah.
for thousands of years or whatever, his armor was protecting him, but it was still seeping into him, so he wasn't in his mindset.
Okay.
So when he happened to shoot out because something like the stars aligned,
Yeah.
he
'Cause
didn't
luck.
know where he was. It was luck.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was, and then he got stripped of all his stuff, so he didn't know he didn't have his armor.
Yes, it was just.
but you would think, because he had spent the time with the Tusken Raiders, and so you would think that he would have assumed that since they had him, they knew where his armor was, so you would think he would have kind of asked them. I don't know. I thought that was like a whole. Yeah, I felt like that was a whole. I was like, where are they going with this? But they didn't spend too much time on
Yeah.
it, so I was like, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to pretend that didn't
But
happen.
we don't know how much time he spent there.
That's what I was gonna ask too, because he said years. At one point, I thought he said, like, I made a comment about it's been years or something to Fennec Shand, and I was like, well, how long? I don't know the time frame of any of this stuff.
Yeah, they're being vague enough with it that we don't really know exactly how long it's been in each of the things. So I think that's a kind of up for interpretation, and you have to listen to some of the slight dialogue to really get it. And I'm not good at that. I just kind of like gloss over.
Because what's going to happen is towards the end, it's going to make sense. Everything is going to make sense at the end.
Like WandaVision.
Oh God. And we never really get a good engineer. Missed opportunity for Mr. Fantastic. Fantastic.
But Disney will try to make money off their brands, trying to spoil this last episode. But when Mando said I have to go see him,
try not to spoil it.
You're spoiling it.
Yeah,
I was
don't
like,
spoil
you're
it.
spoiling it by not spoiling it, but spoiling it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more into that even then.
Yeah.
That
I know there's so much that I want to talk about that I can't talk about because it's going to really spoil it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot happens. There's stuff and things.
I think it was a great start. I think a story needed to be told about him because we don't know much about him cinematically.
Mm-hmm. Look,
And that needed to be done because people don't read.
I read. I like books.
Actually,
But you know what?
How many Star Wars books have you read?
I was just about to say that I've never actually read a Star Wars book. I would like to see what Star Wars books like are actually, like, I guess should have been canon or were canon beforehand or whatever. Like I'd like to see some of those.
Anything that was written in a book was canon, according to George Lucas.
Oh, okay.
Once Disney took over, that's no longer.
Anything before what they made, right, is not canon, or is it?
Anything that Disney made no longer became canon. Any of the books.
Well, I've been curious to read some of them. It's on my list of things to
it
read,
looks
so
like
I'm going to try.
Kind of looked at some of the stuff, but everything doesn't necessarily, and this is what people have to understand, everything doesn't translate over cinematically.
No.
Oh, yeah, no. And everything doesn't sell to the mass audience. That's the other thing you have to remember
that I was gonna make.
is you're looking at the mass audience. Yes, do you want the fans to like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the fans are always going to hate it. Let's just be honest, right? So you can't cater to them because you're not going to make money.
Right.
And they were already going to buy the things. Let's just be honest. You may not even like it, but you're still out there buying the things.
Mm-hmm.
They need new people to buy the things, right? So they need to make it to where people love it. I mean, and they hit pay dirt with Grogu. So I know that they're kind of trying to keep that up and find another, droids. They know that people love the droids. So can we get a cute little droid in there that people are going to love and buy?
Which we did. But which is a droid we've seen before.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's in your game, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Because you have a little figure of him with your figure from your game. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. What's the name of that game? I forgot now. Jedi Masters Alliance, Ultimate Alliance. No, I don't know what's going on.
I was like, Ultimate Alliance is a Marvel one? Wait.
No. Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Is that with the guy who voiced the Joker? Or
Yes.
Joker in Gotham?
Yes. Yeah. Cal is his name in the game. Yeah.
Every Joker's had
really
a lightsaber, is all I know.
I love that. That was a really good game.
That was a good game. I loved just laying around watching him play. It was so much
good
fun.
Of a story?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to play that one for a long time. I just never done it.
It was so good, and it has like puzzle moments to it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm better at the puzzles, but I'm not good at like the movements with the joysticks and stuff. So I would see like ahead of time the puzzle that he needed to do, and I would be like, "Have you tried, moving it this way, going this way, and doing that?" And he's like, "Oh no, I didn't try that yet." And then he'd try it, and then he'd like unlock it sometimes, And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I helped,"
I haven't played puzzle games in so long. I don't know if I can do it. I'm just more like, give me the gun. I'm going to go kill everything on the other side of that wall, and I somehow did this.
And that was a nice combination, I think, of both things, right? It was some of the like kill everything around or like do the task or whatever, and then some of it was like a few puzzles. So
I need to get into it.
I felt like it was a good combination. I really enjoyed it. So
yeah. I saw something earlier. Actually, it was earlier, right before coming out here. Vader shows up in that one, I guess, in that game. Because it was like a cinematic, and he like pops down. I was like, "Oh, that's a scary looking Vader." For some reason, the lighting, just like that was an intimidating Vader. For
it's a beautiful game. Like just watching it, it's like a really beautiful game. It's totally worth playing. Sorry, we digressed from Book of Boba Fett, but that's how things happen.
But I mean, he was with Vader at some point, so
that's
it's connected.
He was. but I can't say it because he finally laid down and he's being good. So I can't say that name. So what are you hoping? Have you seen how many episodes there are in this season of the Book of Boba Fett? There's two more. I didn't know if there was 2 more or 3 more. I couldn't remember.
Robert told me 2, I think, when we were talking about it this morning.
2 more. So what are you hoping to see as we move forward? As they come to the end of this first season.
I don't know. I think Boba needs to establish his court, and he's gonna establish his dominance. Is people are trying to screw him over left and right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then I'm assuming we're gonna get to, like, within the next 2 episodes, maybe get to the beginning of the big conflict with the other family that feels like they own this sector.
The Hutts.
No, not the Hutts. The Hutts left because of the
other ones that want to claim stake, right?
Yeah. What are they called? All I can think of is the Dinks, and that's not it.
I think of Machete in space.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's other people. So I'm guessing these other 2 episodes are going to lead us to, I think, the entrance of whatever this big battle is going to be,
Not that
right?
they're going to take over Jabba's palace, but they're going to take over everything else.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so Boba's got to assert his dominance and, go and start doing something about that.
If he would have just gotten the Green Ranger, this would have been over. He got all the other Rangers. He forgot the green one.
He just forgot the Green Ranger.
Back in the day, if no one knew what was going to happen, he beat all 5 Rangers up by himself.
It'll be interesting, and then I wonder if he's going to show the Power Rangers some of the moves that he learned from the Tusken Raiders, because he did learn some good stuff from them as far as fighting styles. So it'd be interesting to see if he's going to have kind of like his own Jedi-esque type training sessions where he shows them some of the fighting things that he knows, because he's pretty efficient as a fighter. And now that he's gotten that added skill on there from the Tusken Raiders, I think he's even more efficient. So he could kind of have his own little...
He should, because, like, those guys, we've seen them a couple of times, and they can't fight.
Right.
They get beaten up every time. It's like, you guys are just terrible lackeys.
Right. So that's what I'm hoping, is maybe he's going to kind of build his forces and do some kind of training or something. So it'll be, I don't know, it'll be interesting
So
to
are
see.
we going to see, what's his name? Black K?
Oh, the Chewbacca thing?
The Wookiee?
Uh-huh. That's what I was wondering too. Is he going to come back and become part of Boba's circle?
Because in the comics,
I think so.
They team up together, so they know each other.
Yeah.
Like, really well.
Yeah.
And apparently in the comics, he has that scar on his eye from Obi-Wan.
Nice.
Created that scar on his eye.
Nice.
Do you think he's going to come out at all in this one?
I don't know. I would think so.
You would think so if they want to lead us to his show, right?
Yeah.
So you would think.
But I thought we were supposed to see Ahsoka too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like her. I want her to come back around.
But isn't Obi-Wan... I mean, we would have to see Obi-Wan in a flashback. Because in the current timeline, he's gone by then. Because in the current timeline, Luke is an adult. So
he's already dead.
Yeah, he's already dead. So we would only see Obi-Wan in a flashback. But because the show is Obi-Wan young, seeing some kind of flashback of him would make sense.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, the Wookiee teams up and he sees that Darksaber come out or something else, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fly, like Tourette's.
No,
Like, oh,
not that.
Yeah.
Well, and Boba's got to have some memory of Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan is the one who goes to
Mustafar.
Thank you. I was like, to the water
Mustafar.
planet.
The water. Mustafar is where Vader's palace is.
Yeah. So, anyways, but Obi-Wan's the one who goes
To see
the clones. Yeah, to check on the clones and everything. And then we have all that crossover.
Also, he would know who he is, wouldn't he?
He should.
He should.
Right, from his childhood at least.
Who killed his dad?
And then from the Clone Wars.
Oh.
And then that leads you to the Bad Batch, and then you wonder, what about Boba's sister? Do we get to see her? Is she grown?
Oh, from Bad Batch.
Or is she a child forever? Is that the thing? Genetically, she has to stay a child forever.
I mean, she must grow up.
You would think, right? He grows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, are we going to get to see her at some point, and they're going to tie the Bad Batch in too, and she's grown?
That would be cool.
That would be cool, right?
Well, because in the Clone Wars, Boba's in the Clone Wars cartoon, isn't he? Or one of them? Because I remember seeing some stuff, but he was like a whiny little brat, it seemed like a couple times. Maybe I'm watching one.
I don't remember.
I don't remember him
If
being
he
in the
was
Clone
in
Wars,
it.
but it's
I
been a
thought I
long
remember
time
seeing-
since we've seen all the
Yeah.
Clone Wars, so
No,
I
no,
remember kind of an overarching.
Yeah, maybe he was there.
Like nothing like major. I think
Nothing
he was there a
major.
couple times.
Yeah.
I've watched random episodes, and I'm trying to watch it, but I'm like,
Oh, I really enjoyed it. It's
Really?
just we haven't watched it in such a long time. I kind of forget like the
Yeah.
minute details, and I just have kind of an overview in my head of stuff. So
And then I like to remind her about the little kids.
that was mean, and it made me cry. I really liked those little kids.
I'm wondering if Lucas just hates kids.
Right? He's like, death to children.
He just wants their money.
Right, give me your money, but I'm gonna kill
Give
you
me your
again.
money, but you're gonna
You're
die.
You're gonna die.
Terrible.
Oh, your baby. He's a good boy.
So
And then, all the toys that are coming out for this is, I mean, what's going to come out? Are we going to have some cool looking toys? Are we going to have
I mean, Disney's
the
gonna
cool
make
looking
them.
beasts? They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
I did like. I can't say 'cause it's in the new episode. Never mind.
I know. I know.
Say wait, that was, oh
Because
no.
I know I'm trying really hard
Yeah.
not to say stuff. That's why I keep like biting my tongue because I think of things that I want to talk about and I'm like, no.
I think it's definitely, you should definitely watch this. It's a great movie. It's a great show.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get better.
I think it has a lot of places to go, and I think they could write a lot of story about this. So, yeah, I like it.
Slow burn for me, but
It's slow, but I think when
it
you're,
would have to be slow though.
I think when you're starting on a new show, you have to get that character development, especially for a character like Boba Fett that didn't really have
one.
character development anywhere else. Like, if you're doing an Obi-Wan show, it's not going to be a slow burn because we've seen him in a million things, right? So we know what his
Because we
personality
know
should be like.
Everything with Boba is very driven by money. If like something's going wrong, he throws money at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I'm hoping that as we get in subsequent seasons, we get to see more of his childhood because I feel like there are some answers there that we would get to see. So I'm just kind of waiting for that. I so far have liked the story. Yes, it's a slow burn, but I think that it's necessary. I think we've just got to build, especially if it's going to be a show. It's not like it's a movie. So this is not a sprint. This is going to be a marathon, right?
True.
So you've got to kind of build it up and build the world up and get us to where we are and get us to where he got to where he is, because we've only seen him here in his timeline and then way over here in his timeline. So we've got to fill in all of that. Well, actually, we saw him way back here in his timeline and then right here in his timeline and then way over here. So we've got to fill in all of the things. So I think it gives them a lot of room to play with it, and if they'll do it really well, which I think they're really trying to, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think if they go through and put other directors on it as too, like they did with The Mandalorian, it'll give you a lot of different aspects that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah. I don't know. I say watch it. I say try it out. I say don't be such a naysayer about everything. I don't know why people like to just be negative about everything. Just like, you don't have to enjoy everything like Vince does, but you don't have to hate everything either. like just enjoy it for what it is. It's a good story so far. So I give it a thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs. That's like
For
a
me.
thumb up and a thumb sideways.
I give it a flash drive.
You give it a flash drive. Aaron gives it 1 flash drive
Flash drive.
and half a wink.
It's like I can't get it all the way. All right, no, I'm done.
I mean, definitely the best episode was the last episode.
That's not good. If that's really what you think, because that means you just like The Mandalorian.
No, but that's a story that we didn't get to see yet.
But it's not a story about Boba Fett.
But it's still a good episode.
Whatever.
Regardless.
Just no.
Anyway.
It's the book of Boba Fett, not just Boba Fett. There's other people in there.
Gross. If you want to see the book of Mando, go watch The Mandalorian.
Like, I'm gonna go play Halo now again. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't want to say anymore because it was a really good episode, but it can't be the best episode because it's not really about Boba Fett. So, just saying.
We got 2 more.
Just saying.
2 more.
Stick
2
with
more.
Boba. Give us more Boba. Give us Mando stuff in Mando,
Well,
and
I
give us
think what
Boba
they were
stuff in
trying
Boba.
to do is give us that to tie us over till we get the next Mandalorian. It's gonna be a while till we see it. It's not till next year.
No, I know. And I get it. I just felt like that whole episode could have been part of his show. And it could have just been a real small alluded to what he was kind of doing. It could have been a much smaller segment about him and then more. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind.
Yeah,
So don't make me
you're
talk
going
about
over
it.
there.
I know. Don't make me talk about it. Stop making me talk about it.
Angel says if they do a season 2, it would be good. It would be good to see his childhood and teen years.
See, that's what I said. I said that, Angel. Thank you.
What?
Glad you agree
We
with
still have 2 more episodes.
I know.
We
No,
still
well, there's no way they can go to that in the next 2. It's going to have to be in subsequent seasons, I think. Because it's going to take another slow build to see some of those things happening too. I think.
I don't think they'll ever do it.
You don't think so?
They already jumped to adult ones, so I don't.
don't
I
know.
would have liked to have seen it like in those first 4 episodes if it would have been like a slow build up that way, and then it would have been okay. But I don't think they're gonna go. You may just see some random flashbacks, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we got people in here. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. We're trying
I-
not to spoil it too much. Like we want to
Yeah.
say a lot of things, but we don't want to mess it up for people who haven't had
Haven't
a chance to
seen
see
it.
it because it's only been a couple of days. So I don't want to be that person. I hate that.
So maybe next week, I'm going to talk about it.
In a few weeks after the last 2,
Right.
we'll be going
Yeah.
over the whole thing. Yeah, once everybody's had a little bit of time to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. But we'll be back next week. Be a lot of fun. But thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate it. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and thanks, Aaron. Geek Out SA.